This video series covers the Allen & Heath CQ series digital mixers, more specifically the CQ18T. I've had this mixer for about 3 months now, and I want to detail the features and the different workflows that can be achieved with this mixer. The mixer takes about 10 seconds to start. Once it's on, the quick start page is displayed with the big quick start button. Before we go any further, one tip is to save the factory preset in multiple places in case you need to start from scratch. Do this by going to the scenes page under home and recall the factory preset. Then go to the very bottom of the scenes page and press the Store New button. Pressing the Quick Start button will ask you to select one of 7 pre-configured scenes to speed up your workflow. In this tutorial, I'll show you how to do this without the use of the Quick Start feature. The buttons on the mixer or tabs on the Mixpad app represent the 5 functions of this mixer: config, processing, fader, effects, and home. The CQ18T has 3 smart rotaries and 3 soft buttons that can be configured to control different parameters of the mixer. The mixer can be connected to the front of house through the XLR female cables on the top right hand side of the mixer. This is standard as most active speakers will have an XLR combo input. If the front of house speakers only accept jack-to-jack inputs, you can buy cables that convert the XLR socket into a jack female socket. Alternatively, you can use the headphone out as your main left-right. To configure this, go to config, then outputs, then on the right hand, select B and change it to main LR. It's important to know that this will send the left mono signal to the PA, so you may need an additional cable to convert the stereo signal to 2 separate outputs. I know this is getting ridiculous, but one final way to connect with the PA system is by using the aux outputs. This is fairly advanced and beyond the scope of this video, but I will make a separate video on this topic. The mixer has 6 mono outputs that can be configured to 3 stereo pairs with 2 outs for each stereo output. The outputs can be configured with the graphic EQ or the new parametric EQ with feedback assistant, which is exclusive to the CQ series mixers. The feedback assistant is great as it seeks out and attenuates feedback frequencies when they get detected. The graphic EQ is a 20-band static EQ allowing greater control over the frequency spectrum. This mixer has 18 inputs, 8 XLR, 2 stereo jack-to-jacks, and 8 XLR jack combo inputs, which equates to 16 XLR inputs or 10 jack-to-jack inputs. This makes the mixer extremely versatile. To connect a mic, use an XLR cable that runs from the mic to any of the XLR inputs on the mixer. This can be configured in the config page. To ensure that you're hearing the mic, change the input source to analog. For quicker setup, you can choose from the presets in the library that best suit the input source. You can also rename and color the inputs as you wish here. The character limit is 6 letters with 7 vibrant colors to choose from. Then, go to the fader page and turn up the input you connected your mic to. You should now hear the source in the front of house. If you want to plug in a stereo source, you can configure this with the link inputs button here. One thing to note is that inputs can only be stereo linked from odd to even numbers. For example, 1 and 2 can be stereo linked, but 2 and 3 cannot. A small visual indicator is shown when inputs are stereo linked. Inputs 17 and 18 are stereo linked and cannot be changed to mono inputs. The mixer also has 2 additional inputs, Bluetooth and USB. Bluetooth can be turned on or off inside the config page and on the 3rd tab on the top, and the USB is automatically configured once it's detected. Preamp stage. The preamps on the mixer have a range of 60 dB and are from the high-end digital mixers from Allen & Heath, which is to say they are robust and clean. Each input preamp has an invert polarity button and a +48 phantom power button for every input, except for input 17 and 18 as their jack inputs. This is a premium feature that is not seen on other mixers or audio interfaces, as they usually have a group phantom power on or off switch. Having isolated phantom power allows a variety of microphones to be connected to record or for live sound without running the risk of damaging them. The preamps do not have a pad button as they can handle extremely hot signals very well. This is where we'll also find the auto gain and gain assist features exclusive to the CQ series mixers. I come from the analog world, so I've always set my gain manually, but I can see the gain assist feature being very useful for long gigs and for eyeballing things when getting sorted quickly. The gain assist. This section has 2 functions. The auto set looks at the input signal strength and sets the input gain so the peak hits the 0 mark on the fader, at which point it stops. It's important to note that if the signal goes above 0 on this meter, it hasn't clipped yet. It's only when it hits the red of the level meter it clips. Auto gain. To further save the audio from clipping, the auto gain feature will reduce the gain of the input signal slowly so the signal is not clipping. This works reliably well and reduces a lot of stress when setting up. The auto gain only works to reduce the input signal, which means it won't increase the gain if the signal is too cold. Gain assist can be assigned on the XLR inputs using the multi-select button and dragging across the screen.